The world is fundamentally changing and a lot of old ways don't work anymore. I believe there was never more prominent time for this radical change and building our businesses differently. My name is Elira, and in this New Business Paradigm podcast, I challenge all business concepts and I bring new and different perspectives for the ways we work, build our businesses and ourselves. I believe in the economy of care, and I stand for creating businesses your own authentic way while doing it with ease, effortless flow, and joy. I would like to invite the experience of entrepreneurship as a journey of more homecoming to yourself. So, hello everyone. More people are coming. I am extra thankful for each one of you who joined me today because I know it's a very special weekend for a lot of people. You know, it's kind of this long weekend, so a lot of people go away, and I thought like, oh my gosh, will anyone show up? But I just wanted to be consistent and keep my promise, so I'm showing up. And I want to show up every second Monday of the month here for you and to give you a space to connect, to see where you are, what you need, and also discuss one of the topics that I'm so passionate to talk about, you know, like my point of view of the new business paradigm and the world and the capacity work. So thank you so much I'm just taking you all in now, for joining me today. This is my most juicy topic that I'm so passionate about. This is what is like at the core of my business and at the core of the way I'm doing business and the core of how I see the business in the future. And, you know, everyone has their own point of view. But I'm inviting people because I feel like there's a different way of doing business than we used to know, that we know. And that different way is very much feeling with so much ease, with alignment, with very much joy and flow. Maybe I will jump into that topic of new business paradigm. And there's a lot to say. I will not say everything today. Maybe I'll keep it half of it to another time, but at least I want to start sharing few points that I listed today that I wanted to cover. So for me, new business paradigm, and it's such a, someone told me, they said, oh my gosh, I looked in your website and you're like, new business paradigm, the architect of new business paradigm. Is like so bold, like, it's quite a statement. And I thought it is a statement. And that's why I thought like, I want to elaborate on it, why I'm calling like that. Because we are entering an era, actually we're not entering, it's already happening full speed ahead. Talking about also this, now it's becoming new hype word, new business paradigm. But why do I call it? Because I feel it's not anymore another new strategy in town. You know, it's when you look in the house, it's like not like it's a new window. Like now we're moving from glass to, you know, plastic windows. It's literally, we are moving all the foundation. We're changing all the foundation, how the business is done and what is possible, and how we embodying ourselves through the business. And that's what I'm so passionate about. And I feel like my role and my purpose on being on in these times and this planet is to anchor that space. It's something very, very sacred, very different. I have particular way of doing it. And I always knew that this is my path. I didn't know really fully how, but I very early from the childhood, I knew this is what I'm going to do. And that's why some of you who are with me longer know that I'm very consistent talking about this new business paradigm. And talking about these foundations, I want to bring a few topics today. What are these elements of foundations of new business paradigm? So first of all, I feel this is the time where we are finally grounding the spirituality. It's more and more, oh, I have even chills when I said that. It's more and more like the spiritual people started to build very successful and thriving business. And the old business paradigm, what I call the old business paradigm, started to control and manipulate stronger because they are losing the control. And this is the paradigm where individuality is thriving, where we're going from one size fits all in business, though it's very hard because, you know, we're so brainwashed for a long time, towards more tailoring business that works for us, for our way of how our energy works, how our human design works, how our gifts work, how our relationship and manifestation with the world works, because it's so authentic and unique. And there are so many ways how can you do business, and how can you structure your business ecosystem in a way that works for you. And that's why I really love, and that's why in a way I'm being this rebel, also showing people that you can build successful business totally sometimes opposite that people assume. Like, for example, a lot of people think, and it's all marketing and sales focused on that viral success overnight, you know, all the marketing, all the tools, all the sales, all the social media, everything is focused more. How can you get more followers? How can you get more clients? But what I figured out with me, actually, it's not my style. I love intimacy. I love less but deeper. I love to have small containers where I go very deep with people. And I managed to build very successful business till now, well, in my definition of success, where I have very deep, loving, intimate bonds with people. And usually when people buy one product or one program with me, they usually go with me with everything I do. And that way I don't need big audience. I just have very loyal clients that goes with me. And that actually requires me less energy. And this way we can deepen stronger. And also I got to serve them more powerfully because I know their journey. So it's just one of the ways. And I'm trying to pioneer, also be role model on how everything can work differently than you've been taught to, but actually you can be very successful. So for example, as most of you know, I have these extrasensory abilities, and I had to find a way to build my business ecosystem that works for me. I'm also here to kind of challenge traditional roles, how we relate. So all of my roles that work in my personal life and business are kind of a bit non-traditional sense. And I'm also very artistic and very sensitive. And I managed to be very badass businesswoman at the same time. So, you know, it's possible. And I see so many more beautiful artists, spiritual people, nature people, but also all writers, all kind of people that come to my my field. It's not about what they do more, but it's more what they believe in and what they stand for. And I think that's a little bit new business paradigm. It's not pain point marketing anymore. You know, what I feel like old business paradigm is doing, like, you know, this is your struggle and I will remind you even more how painful it is, and I push you in the corner so you're forced to buy. I believe in this empowered marketing or point of view marketing, where I stand on like, this is what I believe on, guys. This is the new business paradigm I'm inviting you to. I believe that you can build business with ease and flow and abundant, like prosperous flow in your own way. And that's what I'm inviting people to join. I'm not talking about your pain points. I know how hard it is. I know I've been in my burnout 4 times myself. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the dream, the desire. And I'm inviting people to join on that movement. And that's also very different way of showing up in the business, because it's not even empowering marketing. It's more, what is there to empower? If you just don't repress or oppress people in the marketing and sales, they have their own power and they're not robbed of that, and then they can join. And I feel like the new business paradigm is also a lot about your way of being instead of doing. That is so where much more emphasis is going. Just think about, how do you buy? How do you join? Usually now we're looking not in the people who are, oh, I have these strategies or these tools. We look at the person who embodied ease. And I was like, I want that. That person figured it out. Or you join the person who embodied femininity because you want to embody that. And or you join the person who has like sparkle in the eyes and is like, I want that feeling of joy. I will join whatever that person does, whatever program they do, because they embodied that. So it's more and more about your way of being, your way of embodiment, than what you are selling in a way. Because when you look in the social media and you look like in a lot of professions, and they all talk, even let's take the coaching industry, because it's one of the biggest industries, they all talk about the same thing. So how do you know which one to choose? Like, which one is right for you? And then it comes to that embodiment part. Then it comes to that connection part, that intimacy part. It's more about how you feel around the person instead of only what they say or what they do. Is that aligned action? And of course, there is, both are relevant, right? You have some attraction to what they say and what they do, but way more weight than before goes to this embodied way of feeling and being, because we're all getting more and more sensitive and super tired on this bullshit, and manipulation and empty promises. Like, we are all so tired of it. It doesn't work anymore. And it counts the same for you guys. Like, did you embody that fully, what you were inviting people to join? And there's always, a certain way of initiating and going deeper on what you are teaching or what you are servicing to people. So there's always, like layers of it. But you know what I'm talking about. It's more fundamentally, from the foundational, fundamental way, instead of just mental way of showing up in your business. Another thing that it's such a buzzword, and I wanted to share my take on it, is what they call heart-based business. The new business paradigm is heart-based business. And what that means to me is more humanity inserting themselves back in the business, because a lot of business were, built and taken over by the power, by money, and all these negative sources, hierarchy. And now the humanity is kind of inserting themselves back. But also heart-based business for me means balanced masculine and feminine energy. Because when you think about old business paradigm is very, very masculine. And when the masculine energy goes without feminine energy, it means it moves, but without the heart, without the direction, without the purpose, without the meaning. And when the feminine is the heart, feminine energy, feminine is the way of being, feminine is the feeling, feminine is the emotion and presence. So if that is missing, then it becomes this very cold-hearted, disconnected way of doing business. So for me, when we talk about heart-based business, is more, let's heal and invite the feminine side of ourselves back to the business. And then those two energies, which we know have them both in us, can dance in such a beautiful, powerful balance. A lot of people say, that's what I've been told too, that my approach is a bit too feminine or like very feminine. And it is because I naturally have more feminine energy in a way, like it's very strong in me. But it also because I have very, very strong structural capacity. I have very strong and mastered masculine energy. Because if you don't have that container, masculine energy is that container, that structure, that holding, then your feminine cannot really flow. Well, I naturally, because I've been in corporate world, for decades, I got that muscle trained quite strongly. And I personally, how I function, I cannot really create and feel safe and flow if I don't have the structure. So that I need the structure first. Like, for example, a lot of people don't even need the website, they just make the website. Okay, this is how it goes. Let's go. And I'm Libra also in the zodiac. So I need my website to be beautiful, to feel welcomed, to create. So it's just knowing yourself and knowing that boundary. So I also learned very early in my business that safety and creating a safety container for people is so key for me. This is one of the key values for me. So, and safety comes with very strong structure and boundaries. I know if I want to go deep with people in my containers, I have to create very strong structures that they feel like they can lean back, that they feel they are held. So from the very early in my business, I started to focus on my structures very strongly. And, it's constantly the capacity that I'm evolving, like all other capacities that I'm talking about. But it's just that muscle, that needs to be addressed. And structural capacity for me is also, it's basically all the system structures and support system, but also people in your personal and business life that holds you, that holds you, that you can stand on and rise. So if you don't have that structural capacity, that foundation, then you're focused on survival, on the safety, on standing firm. So that's what, and we all have that different kind of how to say, where our balance is. Some people have more feminine energy and they are completely successfully thriving also with a lot of mess, but they are growing. But also, they delegate that, to other people to support. Other people have very, very strong masculine, that energy, and they have less of feminine quality or energy, but that works for them, and that's what works for their clients, because that's what they need, and that's what I mean. There's no wrong or right anymore in the world. It's more what works for you and for your individuality. Another thing that I think it's very, very important in the new business paradigm, and it's not talked enough about, the foundations, how we create, and what Leslie touched by a little bit in the beginning, is nervous system. And nervous system is the huge foundation of my work. And I believe a lot of old business paradigm is created from the very dysregulated nervous system. It's a lot from this very adrenalized fight or flight response, or what I call functional freeze. And functional freeze, it means like a lot of people are on the verge of burnout, overstimulated, disembodied, completely in the freeze response, just partly dissociated, partly numbed, they make things happen, they move through the day, so they get things done, but then they get even more numb, and their body's already saying, I'm like, I want you to stop. And what they do, they just pump more coffee and push it through. And that's why we have such a chronic coffee culture, rising and rising even more, because a lot of business is more and more functioning from that functional freeze in a way. And what I believe new business paradigm is going to be, and at least I am trying to build my business very strictly based on that, creating from the healed nervous system, from aligned nervous system, and also grow in line with your nervous system growth, in line with your nervous system capacity to hold that growth, to feel safe in whatever you're rising into, in those changes, in those shifts in your business where you hold more clients, hold more visibility, hold new versions of you. Because at the core, our nervous system is the bridge of embodiment of everything. And if you don't know how that bridge works, this is the first class ticket towards disembodiment, towards re-traumatizing ourselves. And this is where I don't agree with that. And I'm not a big fan of that viral culture that everyone, oh, wow, let's go to TikTok. How can we get viral overnight? And it's nothing wrong with that. But my question always is, can you hold that? If that happens, if you get viral overnight, if you get those clients that you want, will you able to hold it? If you get amount of money you want, will you be able to really receive it in your heart? So anything you desire, you can have it tomorrow, but can you hold it? Can your nervous system feel safe around it? And that's why nervous system is at the core of my Capacity Path program and in all programs. Because first of all, what I notice, we stored so much trauma. We're not taught how to manage our body to release the fight response, the flight response. And then if you miss those, you go to the fawning or freezing response. And if you miss that, you go in completely shut down depression or like this overstimulated shock state. So if you don't have those tools, to first to heal your nervous system, then you don't have capacity to expand your nervous system. And expand, I mean by instructing your body with a new way of being, new way of doing, new way of growing. Because if your nervous system feels unsafe with whatever you do, it will find a way to bring you back to safety. Even if you think it's very not safe, but it's familiar with your nervous system. Even, all these chronic conditions and let's say not having money or very unhealthy relationships. Yes, we mentally understand it's unhealthy, but your nervous system feels safe in that unsafety because it's familiar. So it will find the way back until you show your nervous system that actually it's safe to receive love. It's safe to be in healthy relationships. I had so many times where I get so much love from my clients and I was like, is it safe? Where's the Trojan horse? What's happening? So I believe, and what I figured out, our biggest problem is not about how to struggle. We actually very familiar with that. The biggest problem we have is how to receive more goodness, how to open our heart to receive more goodness. This is where usually the capacity edge is. This is where nervous system edge is like, oh, okay, I don't know. Last time I opened my heart, I trusted it. You know what happened in 2005? So, and a lot of people don't do that work and don't reflect that. And then they just recreate the patterns from that unregulated nervous system and traumatize themselves. But also more and more coming back to that point of way of being, more and more people start to sense and feel that dysregulated nervous system. Because think about when you sometimes go in the meeting and when the person is dysregulated, it's very contagious. It just doesn't feel safe. And when the person is balanced and aligned, it's just like, oh, okay, that feels so good. I don't know why, but just feels so good next to that person. So I believe this is what's new paradigm, where we start build businesses, not from trauma, but from healed nervous system. And where we grow our business, not fast and furious, but in line how much capacity our nervous system has. And then, when you do that work, what I've learned in my own experience and also with other people that I support with, the quantum leaps happen so effortlessly because when your nervous system realign, then things just happen and you can hold it because you're ready. Your nervous system is ready to hold that. That's why I keep talking about this work, guys, because it's such a different way of approaching. And it's so hard for me to share with you in such a short time because it needs a little bit of time also. It needs rewiring. I also want to have every second Monday of the month consistently to have this community call where we just can come here to have touch base, discuss new business paradigm and capacity topics. And maybe next one I will do on structural capacity, That's how it rolls with me. And I hope then to see you next time.